If you follow this channel, then you might think that the watch that we're looking at today isn't part of the norm. It isn't part of the norm. And that's one of the things that I love about watch shows, watch events, is that you get to explore things that just aren't on your radar. And this watch completely took me by surprise. I fell in love with it, not quite at first sight, but at first wrist wear. This video isn't sponsored by Cartier. However, Cartier, if you want to sort me out, then feel free. The sort of watch that you'd see on this channel and the watch that I typically wear, this is an Explorer 2 on our Bark & Jack strap. And this strap is what you'd find over at barkandjack.com. This is our 70-30 strap. Absolutely stunning, mega soft, mega strong. barkandjack.com. Go check them out. However, today we are talking about the Cartier Panthère. The relationship with Cartier and a Panther started back in 1914 when Louis Cartier commissioned a drawing by artist Georges Barbier. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced. I have no idea. This was to be used as a piece of marketing for their first watch that featured a panther pattern as part of the case. Throughout the following decades, Cartier's had a relationship or used the panther as inspiration for pieces of jewelry and further watches, but it wasn't until 1983 when the Panthère watch was actually created, and the name is actually connected to the bracelet. Cartier said that the ultra-flexible structure of the bracelet is connected to the flexible movement of the Panther itself. As a product offering, the bracelet plays a major part of the watch itself, allowing it to be, of course, a watch, but also double as a piece of jewelry. Since the launch of the Panther, there's been various variations of it, be it different metals, different dial colors, different decorations around the bezel, and that is still present in the current range of Panther. However, the ones that we're looking at are the medium, perhaps more pedestrian-looking versions of the Panther. There are three sizes. You've got mini, small, and medium. So medium is actually the largest version, but this is what Cartier say is the unisex version, despite the vast majority of the marketing being based at females. I do prescribe to the idea, just wear what you want. The three versions that we have here are just full steel, two-tone, and then solid full gold. And the price difference is drastic between the three of them. The case is 29mm wide, it's 37mm lug to lug, and they are 6mm thick. The crown is set with this little blue gem, which is such a sexy little touch, and they have 30 meters of water resistance, which is pretty much nothing. However, I don't feel like this is a sort of watch that needs to have water resistance. You're not going to use this for sports in the slightest. Because the case is square, it's not your typical round shape, you pretty much do just need to ignore the dimension. If you like the style of this, you have to try it on to see what it feels like, because square watches do just wear larger than round watches, especially with how integrated the bracelet is with the design of the watch. It then further wears larger as well. Now, when it comes to the movement, there really isn't much information about the movement on this thing. Everyone just says it's quartz. It's just a quartz movement. But what I think the movement is a Cartier 687, which is actually made by Piaget, but then finished by Cartier, and it's got these beautiful Geneva Stripes on it. It has 7 jewels, and that's pretty much all the stats that I can find on this movement, and we will come back to it. I want to talk about the price first. So the stainless steel costs £4,950, the two-tone costs £9,050, and then the solid yellow gold costs £25,400. So when you come back to the idea around whether it's jewelry or a watch, I feel like this further sits in jewelry based on the movement that's inside it and the price difference. The price difference between the steel, two-tone, and gold, that difference is disproportionate to the cost of the metals themselves. That, along with the fact they don't have an in-house movement, and Cartier is a legitimate watchmaker. They have their own movements, which are actually used by other brands like Vacheron. And so I feel like that means that this watch sits further in the jewelry category than watch category. That being said, I don't feel like that takes away from the product itself, because I feel like this sort of product, being an elegant watch, a dress watch, it's kind of more about the looks for me than anything. And I feel like that's what I've been drawn to. And the fact that there isn't a ticking hand going around the dial, it's pretty irrelevant that it's quartz. Maybe I'm just trying to justify it to myself. There is an element of luxury which I feel is often ignored in the watch world when we become obsessive about mechanical movements. I feel like there is an element of luxury when it comes to quartz. You can just take it off and wear it for the fancy occasion that you could do with this watch, and it's still ticking. The date is correct, the time is right, and that's one of the luxurious elements of quartz. And the fact that this isn't just an off-the-shelf ETA quartz movement, this is a Piaget movement, and it's been highly finished. So it does still have that element of luxury about it. What I love about the look of this watch, and I think what drew me into it, is how elegant and dainty. It's a pretty watch. And I typically go for rugged watches, a Seamaster, a Submariner, the Explorer 2. That's usually my bag. And so there is a nice contrast, or an epic contrast, between my usual taste and this little thing here. And I also like the contrast between wearing this very elegant watch with jeans and t-shirt. And my favorite one is a solid gold, because I feel like it's just that, it's the furthest end of that contrast, that contradiction. Solid gold, very fancy, very pretty, very elegant, and then you team it up with jeans and a t-shirt, and you've just got these really two extremes of perhaps this styling world. I feel like this watch has been designed to be worn with a suit or perhaps with a dress, certainly for an elegant occasion, and I kind of like that punk feeling of toning it down or elevating what I normally wear. If you like the styling, but this is just too small, too dainty for you, then you could compare it to the Santos. They're very similar designs, there's very similar elements that are shared between the two. However, the Santos just is a beefier version of this watch. But I do feel like there's something sexy about the pure elegance of this Panthere. What do you guys think of the Cartier Panthère? I just think it looks absolutely killer. Drop a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you like the style of this video, then hit the subscribe button down there and that little bell icon so you get notifications when I drop a new video. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow at BarkandJack. If you want to check out watch straps and watch accessories, jump over to barkandjack.com. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.